Now, what does it mean that your heart is not open? Let us see. You are born again. You have got your realization. Also, it is your birthday in a way. But in the growth of your knowledge and understanding, you have not kept pace with your heart. But what is the reason for that? What is it that keeps your heart like that? You can discover very easily that your heart rules the body, rules your brain, everything. Because if your heart stops, everything stops. But if your brain stops, heart won't stop. So heart is the most important thing, and it governs the whole being within you. Now this special instrument, which is very delicate, which circulates also, is like a stone. How will it pulsate? So when we say enlarge your heart, it means that the stoniness of your heart has to be melted away. But how does it become stony? We have to go to the roots of that. It becomes like a stone because the heart controls the brain. As there are 7 auras on your brain, in the same way there are 7 auras on your heart. And all those auras are the ones which control the auras of the brain. Now, on the brain, as you know, there are 2 institutions of ego and conditionings, which starts pressing the brain too much. As a result, all these auras get pressed. So the auras which are surrounding the heart also get pressed. But brain can think, yes, this is very good, I know how to raise Kundalini, I know how to do this, everything I know, part there is. It doesn't become stony that way. It can think. Anybody who is a stone-hearted fellow can think, like Hitler. So the brain does not get affected by the conditioning of the ego to such an extent that it becomes like a stone, it cannot think. If it is ego too much, just closer if you bring it. Go on falling, I am holding it on. If it's an ego, then a person may become stupid. But he thinks all right. He really becomes stupid. Anybody who is an egoist, whose agya is catching, becomes a stupid fellow, no doubt about it. You see in his behavior, whenever he talks, the way he is trying to do anything, it's such a show-off, and he becomes a stupid fellow. Any wise person can see that he is such a stupid man. So, what we find that mind is covered with the superego, but it does not make a person with a brain which is stony. On the contrary, it makes a person a stupid person, not a stone-headed. And such a stupid man can go on talking all kinds of things. And you can immediately recognize such a stupid man. No difficult. The other side of it is the conditionings in the mind. That's even a worse thing, very sly. Because somebody has the conditionings, he doesn't come out of it. He doesn't show off. But he's sly. And his brain is covered with such ideas which are asahaj. Like somebody saw me in a puja washing my hands and giving that water. He said, why do you take the water which is washing mother's hands? So the other one said, mother has got such tremendous vibrations in her hands that when we wash them, the vibrations come in. Oh, he couldn't believe it. Because the conditionings are that whenever you wash your hands, only the dirt comes out. So they can't think of vibrations. All such conditionings are there in the mind of people. Because of these conditionings, they cannot take to heart. But what happens? That they think about it in a very sly manner, tell lies, talk nonsensical things, and try to convince you that they are right. They are not stupid, but they are idiotic. They talk like idiots. And that idiotic thing you accept. There is no wisdom in it. So one fellow is a stupid fellow, another one is an idiot. Between the two lies the Sahaja-yogi. So this conditioning makes the brain pervert, but it doesn't make it a stone. Only what makes it a stone is that if he is born with some sort of a mental derangement that he cannot think. Otherwise, the brain goes on thinking, whether with conditionings or with ego. It goes on thinking. Such a brain should not affect the heart, because heart affects the brain. But the auras which are manifested from the heart start becoming dull or disappearing. So the auras around the heart are very sensitive and they feel no use throwing light on the brain. They start becoming smaller and smaller, and that's how the heart becomes small. Because they have no purpose in life then. So they start becoming smaller and smaller. As a result, the heart becomes small. We call somebody is very small-hearted fellow, is a chicken-hearted fellow. Or we always say such a man is a stone-hearted person. All this happens because of the conditionings and the ego of the human mind. And the result is felt by the heart becoming a stone, because heart is a sensitive thing. Brain is not that sensitive. If you put something soft in the water, it becomes hard. But if you put a stone in the water and boil it, it won't. So heart being very sensitive and delicate becomes like a stone, as if boiled in the heat of the brain waves. And it becomes a very hard stone. It does not know how to say even one word which is nice. It goes on hitting people all the time, saying things which one should not have said. All the time thinking, what should we say to hurt another person? How should I try to really mislead another person? because it's a sly attitude. The ego part, the heart becomes again frozen with ego. And then the heart thinks, not thinks, but heart cannot emit any auras to the brain. The brain starts thinking that now the area of heart is finished. The heart cannot control us anymore. Then heart starts thinking that I will do all the work myself. The head starts saying. And the heart becomes small, stony, it doesn't act. So now the brain takes over. The brain takes over and then brain starts itself acting in a manner that we can't understand. They behave like animals, they behave like satanic people, they become very cruel, and they do not know how to really say something good to others. There's a kind of a very false pride in them, and such people go on hurting others, insulting others, till they meet another one like them, and then both of them collapse. That's the only snag in the whole thing. Otherwise we would have been finished by now. But because the two persons with ego cannot be together, they neutralize each other. So thank God, we are saved from that. So these two conditionings, which actually are on the brain, these two conditions freeze the heart and also make the domain of heart as zero. And then the brain starts asserting itself. That is how we do not know how to be kind to others, how to be nice, how to be helpful, how to be gentle, and how to be reassuring, protecting others. All this we have inherited already. We have already got a stone heart when we come to Sahaja, and we have a brain either full of ego or superego. So now with your Kundalini rising, you can clear out your head first of all. So the sincerity will come when the Kundalini will move and touch your Brahmarandra, which is the seat of your heart, and will expand. Then the heart just comes back like a king, returns back, and starts dominating the brain. When the heart comes back, immediately find those people with whom we are angry, we would not talk, we had nothing to do. Suddenly you become friendly with them. There's no problem. In many ways, people have harmed you. All that harming and everything just disappears. And you start becoming so nice and beautiful. What has happened that Kundalini has touched your Brahmarandra, where is the seat of heart. And as soon as that opens out, your heart also opens. And it gets awakened, it thinks, oh, what? I have allowed this brain to rule me? How dare it rules me? It just jumps on it. And we have seen people, suddenly there is so much transformed, that's remarkable.